Welcome to Midlife Mood, vlog number 14. As promised last week, I'm here to chat about intermittent fasting. So as I mentioned last week, intermittent fasting is just having a specific amount of time where you don't eat anything and a specific amount of time when you do. This is not a new idea. Various religions have been doing this for a really, really long time. You think about Ramadan, which has fasting. You think about the Jewish religion, which also has fasting. There's nothing new here. There's actually even medical papers, I believe, that date back to 1982 on intermittent fasting. So we've been looking at this for a long time. So is intermittent fasting the holy grail? Is it the answer to all your weight loss problems? Well, the answer is, I don't know. More information is needed. Previous studies have shown lots of benefits to intermittent fasting. Recent studies that came out this year said, when it comes to weight loss, intermittent fasting doesn't have any greater benefits. Beyond weight loss, some of the things that intermittent fasting claims to have benefits over are what's called metabolic switching. So what that means is instead of your body burning sugar or glucose, it uses fat. Okay, that sounds pretty good, right? Also, in animal studies, it may inhibit the growth of cancer cells. Okay, so is it claiming to cure cancer and stop the growth of cancer? I don't know. Again, in animal studies, let's not jump to any conclusions. It also lowers fasting insulin levels. It claims to improve health and mood, and it also claims to reduce heart disease. So beyond just fat loss, there are a lot of claims. I think we need to have, the scientific community needs to have more studies on this. It depends what you read. So this book, I actually have this book by Jason Fung, who, if you read this book, you will walk away like, oh my gosh, I need to fast for a week and I'm gonna have the healthiest life ever. And that, to me, not the right solution for everybody, obviously. But then you have other physicians who are like, he's a quack, he doesn't know what he's talking about, everything's ridiculous, don't believe anything. So it is hard to kind of cut through what's real, what's not. So there were a couple studies from the New England Journal of Medicine, and that's what I referred to, and those were just looking at actual weight loss. When we talk about intermittent fasting, that's why I say it's a tool. This is not the magic bullet. This is a tool you can use if it's the right thing for you. So who wouldn't be an ideal candidate to do intermittent fasting? If I'm working with a client who, I'm thinking of a specific client who I know she struggled with binge eating, we're not going to do intermittent fasting because this can trigger any sort of binge eating because you're restricting and opening windows of when and what you can eat, not what you can eat, but when you can eat. So if you're used to binging and you're doing, say, 16-hour fast, when that 16-hour fast is over, that person may have the urge to start binging. If you have kind of that obsessive, compulsive personality, probably not the best. This probably isn't the best for you either, because you may be obsessed of like, oh my gosh, I have to fast for 16 hours. It's been 15 hours and 45 minutes and I'm starving and I can't eat and I can't eat, and you're fretting and you're worried, and just eat, it will be fine. So if you know who you are, if that describes you, I wouldn't suggest intermittent fasting if we were working together. So let's say you are a candidate for intermittent fasting. You're like, yeah, this sounds like something for me. I'm usually not hungry in the mornings. I kind of am fasting anyway. So I want to give it a try. How should I do it? There are a lot of ways to do it. I mentioned this last week. The most common way to do it is a 16-8. 16 hours of fasting, 8-hour window of eating. So most people, an easy way to do this is they eat from noon to 8 p.m., then mouth shut, kitchen shut, whatever. They don't eat after 8 p.m. until noon again the next day. Now you might be thinking, oh my gosh, what about coffee? I need my coffee in the morning. Yes, 0 calories coffee with nothing, totally fine, keeps you in a fasted state. this is where there's some controversy on, well, can you have something, can you have a little bit of cream as long as it's less than 25 or 50 calories? Does that break your fast? Some people say yes, some people say no. You do you. You do what works for you until the literature and science community catches up and says, this is what it is. Look, if you need a little creamer and it's 25 calories, go for it. But that doesn't mean you can if you want to go to Starbucks and get a 200 calorie drink, that's definitely breaking your fast. So hopefully we defined that. How to not break your fast, stick with anything that's 0 calorie drink, tea, coffee, water, obviously are the good go-tos there because they're going to be 0 calories. So after the 16-8, probably the next most common one is going to be the 5-2, which this is more of a day fast. So you're going to go 5 days of the week, you're eating your regular calories. 2 days of the week for women, you're eating 500 calories total. So those 2 days would be your fasting days. Typically, they're not done back to back. So you pick the days that you can, you're not going to be tempted by food, I guess, which this one's hard for me because I like to eat. So I can't imagine only having 500 calories in a day. That sounds miserable, but this does work. If you want to do this and try this, pick 2 days out of the week where you can have 500 calories and the other days just eat normally. So maybe Tuesday, Thursday are your 500 calorie days, or Sunday, Wednesday, whatever it looks like for you, whatever your schedule looks like. 2 days, 500 calories, 5 days, normal eating. So what does that do? Of course, it gets you into a calorie deficit. So yes, you're going to lose weight. The next one is the 24. So not 24, but 24. So this is a 20-hour fast, 4-hour eating window. Again, this sounds miserable to me, but some people love it. Fast for 20 hours, eat for 4. So maybe you just eat at lunchtime, maybe you just eat around dinner time, whatever that 4 hours is for you. Same concept, nothing to eat or drink except 0 calories during the fasting state. And then during the fed state or eating window, you can eat for those 4 hours. This again will take you to a calorie deficit because if your total calories for the day are 1,800, I shouldn't say there's no way, because there is a way. You probably feel disgusting, but there's probably no way you're going to eat 1,800 calories in 4 hours. Like, that's not good. That's not going to feel good. So it will probably just put you in a calorie deficit, so you will lose weight. Are you confused yet? There's still 2 more. Actually, there's more than that, but for today, we're just going to focus on 2 more. The big one, 24-hour fasts. So these, again, I referred to these at the beginning. Some religions have 24-hour fasts. You can fast for 24 hours, then when the 24-hour window is up, you just start to eat as you normally would. So you could do these once a week, you could do them every 2 weeks, once a month, whatever. But this fasting window, this 24-hour fasting is not meant to be done, obviously, back to back to back to back. You would pass out, you would end up in the hospital. So that's not a good option. The other option, this isn't a specific window, but it's called the 1 meal a day. And I find this so interesting because there's a person I know from high school. So mind you, I graduated from high school in 1994. So it's been a minute. So this has been around since the 90s. This person lost a lot of weight by just following this. It was 1 meal a day. That's all this person did, was they didn't eat all day, went home, ate dinner. That's it. Lost a ton of weight. So this works. If you are disciplined enough and can restrict yourself enough to just 1 meal a day, go for it. Give it a try. See if it tries. If it works for you. Tools in the toolbox. All of these different examples I gave, 16-8, 24, 24-hour fast, 5-2. These are all tools. There's not one thing that's, this is the best. This is what I have to do. It's amazing. This is the answer. These are just options. You have to pick what's going to work for you. personally, I like 16-8 fasting. It works for me. I'm not hungry in the morning. I can't eat before I work out because it makes me sick. It makes me feel like I'm going to throw up. So 16-8 for me is not a big deal. But if you're the type of person you wake up starving in the morning, maybe it's just not for you. Or maybe you want to try a 12-12 fasting window. But that's not for me to tell you what to do. You have to try it and see if it works for you. But if you are going to lean in towards that binging or being obsessed by it, please don't do it. Do not do it. And I am not a doctor, so take advice from your physician if you have any questions. I'm just here to give a quick overview on what is intermittent fasting and how do you do it. Okay, the last thing, oh yeah, there are apps all over the place. If you're interested in learning more about intermittent fasting, you can check it out. If you're like, it's too hard to keep track of when I ate and when I didn't, there's actually an app called Zero, and you push a button and it tells you, like, it starts to track your fast, how many hours. Okay, don't laugh, but I actually have used this app because for work I travel across 3, sometimes 4 time zones. So if I'm trying to stay and stick with my intermittent fasting, it's kind of like, okay, now when did I start my fast? I started it in Central, but now I'm Pacific and I'm here for 2 days and then I go to the East. Like it just was too much and I don't want to get to that obsessive area. So you just push the button and don't worry about it and you look at it. It's an option. It's there for you. What questions do you have on intermittent fasting? Ask me below. I hope I can answer them, and hopefully this was informative and you've got an idea of at least what does it mean when somebody says, I do intermittent fasting. Have a good day. I'll be back next week. See you then.